Hello. I just went for like the shortest walk ever because it's freezing out there. I need mittens or gloves. They're all in Austin. I have like a rinky-dink pair here at my mom's, but so there's been these things that have been rolling around in my brain. And I just want to talk about them. So, let's see. There's a couple things. So one of them is to see how manipulatable we are. I've talked about this before, and I probably talked about it in my last video, but the fact that Elon Musk can tweet something out and then the crypto market does or doesn't do something, or the stock market does or doesn't do something because of what he tweeted is crazy to me, because the market, aka the people respond to what Elon Musk does or doesn't say, or how he says it, or whatever. Like, that's bananas, right? Like, that's always seemed weird to me, because it's like, wait, did these people check in? Did they check in with their own intuitive knowing before they bought or sold? Or are they just doing it because that's what everybody's doing? Which, I think that's the answer. I think they're doing it because that's what everybody's doing. And they want to be part of it, and, you know, all the things. It's the same thing that got us into this mess. It's the same reason why people are still wearing masks in 2021. Like, it's like, hello, you're not dead, you haven't died. So there's that. So then there's the other piece of it too. Like, there's like several examples that I have, but there's this video going around about this woman who she's an older woman, and she's basically wanting her video to go viral, talking to Trump, saying, why aren't you coming out about the vaccines? Why aren't you saying anything about the adverse reactions? Like, you must be living under a rock in order to not know about this. I lost a lot of friends and family, like, voting for you. I voted for you twice, you know, And I was so like, that's probably the face I made when I was watching the video. I was like, wait, what? Like, it's so weird that we're here. Like, it's weird that we got to this place, because why is it Trump's job? Like, genuinely, why is it his job to come out and say that there's adverse reactions? Like, you know there's adverse reactions, so you're good. Keep being you. Keep sharing your truth. Keep sharing what you're getting. Keep telling people if you feel called to tell people. Like, keep doing your work in the world. But the reason why it's Trump's job to come out and say there's adverse reactions, even though you know there's adverse reactions and everybody else knows there's adverse reactions, except the people that don't know there's adverse reactions, the reason why is because of that saying. Is that true? Wait, I'm checking myself now. Ooh, I don't know if this fits. Maybe. We'll run with it. So is that saying, the only reason that's true, that you feel as though Trump needs to say something, is because the saying is true, with great power comes great responsibility. But I say false. I say bullshit on that. People only have great power if you've given it to them. Period. Like, it really comes down to the individual and your own sovereign connection with divinity. And that's it. Like, everything else just falls off the table. There's nothing left. Because with that saying, which was used a lot in personal development and like that whole world when I was in there for a hot second, of like telling people like, oh, you need to be careful, you know, you have a really large audience, and if you say something, it's like, wait, what? Like, that's a fucking problem. If your large audience is that easily influenced by what you say or don't say, there's an issue here. There's a big time issue here, because that to me tells me that you're not telling your audience to trust themselves and to check in and to see if this is actually genuinely here for them. That's like ground zero. That's where we need to fucking start this game. But no. So that whole thing is just shenanigans to me. With great power comes great responsibility. It's like, yeah, when people have given you their power, but Trump, maybe he has great power, but I haven't given him shit. He can come out and he can say there's adverse reactions. It doesn't matter. It changes nothing for me. I'm still going to keep going. I'm still going to say what I have to say. I'm still going to do what I have to do. Like, it's bananas. It's bananas. People, it's the same mechanism that I talked about before when I see all those new age channelers refer to their journals and get really docile about what their guide said. It's like, say it as you. Say it as you. Embody that message. That message came to you, through you, for a reason. It is here to you, for you to be the living embodiment of. Do it. Try it on. Say it as your own. But people don't do that. They want to offload. Like, there's this like constant offloading, and then you get to be the victim of your circumstances over and over and over again. And it is not a good look. It is just not a good look. So that's what's been like rumbling around over here. And there's also like the whole with great power comes great responsibility piece is the people that are thinking that about themselves are like, oh, I have a lot of power, so therefore I have a lot of responsibility. It's like, ew, no. Anyone that thinks about how powerful they are is like, oh, gross, gross, gross. Yes, there is this innate power of light and divinity and God working through you. That is powerful. But that is not something that we're like monitoring. Like, that's the other thing. Like, people use that to not say things. People say, well, you have great power and responsibility, so, don't say that. It's like, yeah, but I want to fucking say it. Like, then fucking say it. Fucking say it. And if it creates a disaster, then that's an issue. Then we have an issue here that we actually need to look at. If by you speaking your truth and saying what you're getting from God, from divinity, from light, if you speaking and sharing what you feel called to say causes some sort of rift or problem for the people around you, I just think that's nonsense. I think it's nonsense. People can react however they want to react to you. Whatever's there. It doesn't fucking matter. It's not your job. It keeps people from speaking their truth. It keeps people from trusting their channel. It keeps people from saying what they actually they're here to say. It keeps them from saying something different than the regurgitated narrative. Because what these people are pulling through, for example, the new age people, the channelers, the whatevers, they're pulling through something unique. They've got to be. I would hope. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. But in theory, they're pulling through something unique. And it feels important that that message gets embodied here on Earth. I don't think we get those messages to just say them and spew them out and not have them actually integrate or have them land. I don't think that's where this goes. I think those messages are meant for us to live, to practice, to embody here, to try on. So I'm talking about two different things, because there's the brushing off the new age saying, oh, it was my guides that told me to tell you this. It's like, no, you fucking say it as you. Like, bring through the fucking heat. I want to feel you. I want to hear you. I want to know what you're fucking thinking, who you are, who you be. I don't want to just know you as this, like, oh, she refers to her journal entries every time she has something potent to say. Because right there, the potency is down to when you're ripping through your pages. Like, not for me. That shit doesn't hit. I need shit that hits. And then there's the other people that are, I was listening to this show last night, and this guy was like, well, you just really gotta, like, you can't just come out like Alex Jones and just say stuff. You really gotta, like, see where they're at and speak to them at their level. And I was like, oh my God, what? We're still doing this? So therefore you think if you're speaking to them at their level, you must think that you're at a higher level, because people that are at those levels don't think in levels. Like, they're not, oh my God, I'm beneath you. Can you speak down to me so I can understand what you're saying? No, No! Like, what the fuck is that? What is that? It is absolutely insane. And that was all in the personal development world. Like, you need to speak to people where they're at. If I spent my day speaking to where people were at, I don't even know who I would be. I don't even know what my opinions would be. My channel would get so fucking crisscrossed. I wouldn't be bringing through anything potent. I'd be all concerned that I need to be speaking to people's levels, which is not my job to even figure out what their level, who fucking cares? My job is to transmit and bring through what I'm getting. My job isn't to shave off slivers of myself so other people can understand me. That is not my job. And when you offload that to divinity and you trust that what you're getting is pure and true and here for you to transmit, then you're good. You don't need to worry about that. That is insane. That is like a huge bandwidth suck. I can't even imagine. But yeah, oh yeah, he was so right with himself with that. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Speaking to people's levels and speaking to where they're at so they can understand. And it's like, if they need to understand, they'll understand. Nobody did that for me. Nobody spoke to my level to get me to open my fucking eyes and see what the fuck is going on here. Something felt off internally and I kept going. I kept going with it. I trusted this knowing over everything else. Nobody said, well, so Miriam, there's, I don't even know what the thing would be, because the thing started, 2020, I'm telling you, January 2020, Seattle, Washington, first cases of COVID. Was in Seattle, which is where we live. The whole yoga studio got sick. Blah, blah, blah. We went to Mexico for a week, first week in February for a yoga retreat. Came back, the plane ride back, everybody's like this. It's so fucking weird. People had masks on and they were covering their noses. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not scared. I'm good. This is fucking crazy. What do I want to say about that? So that was nobody said anything. Nobody said anything to me. They didn't say, Miriam, you need to wear a mask. Miriam, there's this really scary virus. Miriam, blah, blah. Nobody said anything. Nobody said jack shit. So then fast forward to mask mandates in Denver in March, or was it lockdowns? I don't know. Lockdowns. And I was like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not. No. Nobody said to me, if anything, everybody around us was scared out of their goddamn gourd. And they were stocking up on water, on toilet paper, on this, on that. No. The spiral continues. They were fucking scared out of their mind. And I was like, we have water. We're fine. What? Like, I was checking in the whole time. People got so spun out by this shit. But I'm telling you, nobody talked to me at a certain level to get me on board, enroll me, manipulate me into what they wanted me to do for them. Because all of that is the enrollment process, the manipulation process, all of this stuff is self-serving. Like, even to the point, for those of us that want to wake up the people around us, it is completely self-serving. I told my dad about the vaccine. I told him that George Floyd was a psyop. And what else did I tell him? I don't know. Something else that's, offensive or whatever. That's my fucking truth. I told him everything. I laid it all. I said I don't wear a mask. He was like, oh, you should get your art printed on masks. I was like, I've never worn one. Like, I've been lying to you on the phone. Like, when I laugh and say, hi, yeah, I've been lying. So I sent him that email. I shared it on social media. And, he's double vaxxed, probably got the booster. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. But the reason why I told him to not get the vaccination was so he didn't die, which is really just self-serving on my part, to be completely honest, because I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with his death. I didn't want to deal with his house. I still don't want to deal with it. It's completely self-serving. So can we be honest? Can we be honest that when we're trying to enroll people into our ideology, enroll, manipulate, convince, when we're trying to get them on our side, it is completely self-serving? Can we admit that? And the answer is yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, that is pretty self-serving. Like, yeah, it's because I don't want them to die, because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt when my parents fucking die, but it's gonna hurt anyway. But it's gonna hurt extra because I knew something, because I knew what the fuck was going on here. And I don't want to be with that hurt. It's okay. It's okay to admit that. It's perfectly normal. But for whatever, but this is the piece that it is out of our hands. Truly, it is not our job. People have their threshold. They have their threshold for abuse. They have their threshold, which is clearly what's happening here. People are like loving the victimhoodness. They're loving being abused. They're loving their mask as their safety blanket, but their abuser gave it to them. So, and their abuser loves them. You know, it's like, get the 2 black eyes and he buys you flowers. You know, it's that kind of shit. It's all the same fucking thing. So, go off on a tangent here. But when our line for being abused, when our line for being crossed, when our line for being told what to do, how to be a good person, when that shit starts infiltrating, it's like, no. I'm already a good person and I haven't done any one of these things. Don't even try to hook me with that narrative, because that is absolute bullshit. The good person narrative, you're already a good person. And if you don't think you are, then you've been duped. You've been duped, along with the rest of us, for generations. These are the things good people do. Well, you're already a good person. You haven't done those things. So are you still a good person? Can you trust that you're still a good person? Because when you check in with God, with light, with divinity, you're told you're a good person. God doesn't say, oh, you need to be a better person and wear that mask. There's no fucking way. That makes no sense to me. None. Zero. Light doesn't talk like that. Light doesn't manipulate you and tell you what you need to do better. Light tells you that you're already doing good. Period. And that is an uncomfortable truth to be with. What do you mean I'm already doing good, but I'm not doing this, this, and this? It's like, yeah, that's okay. You don't need to do those things right now. Can you be with the fact that you just got a divine compliment, literally, of how good you're already doing? Yeah, the offloading. It's like insane to me. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. My life changes zero. If Trump comes back into the White House, if Trump does this, if Trump, like, zero. My life changes zero. I will continue doing what I've always been doing, which is calling out bullshit on current events. That is my job. I don't know why, but I just keep doing it. I will call out bullshit on whatever is happening here and offer something better or offer something different. I fucking hope I offer something better and different. Because this is insane to me. Yeah, it's so clear. It's so clear. The Elon thing is the clearest example, but it's everywhere. You know, it's everywhere. People have sold their sovereignty, their own inner knowing, because they're not checking in with divinity when Elon tweets and they're like, is this here for me to buy or sell? Like, they're not doing that. They're just going with the wave. And that's literally how we ended up here. Like, right? We get that. So what happens when you don't go with the wave? What happens when you stand solid in your knowing, unwaveringly in your truth? Then what? And that's when things change here. That's when things become different here. That's when you actually bring through your soul's essence here to the planet, which was prayed for by all of your ancestors. Without a doubt. The same prayers that we send up today, asking for a better future. You are that. You are the embodiment of that. So be it. Prove it. Be something different here. Not different as in woke culture where you dye your hair all these different colors and change your gender 8 bajillion times. I'm not saying that. No, that's not being different. That's not being an individual. That's a mess. It's a hot mess. Be a person. Be a person with opinions. You don't need to offload it onto your guides told you to tell the world this. It's like, no, just say it. Just fucking say it. And I realize that is what I help people do, is to just fucking say it. That is literally my job here. And I'd be out of a job if people weren't saying it. Because they're not saying it. People aren't saying it. I would have no work to do in this world, or I'd have another iteration of work to do if people were saying what they really want to fucking say. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to fucking know. That's what I want to be around. Those are the people I want to be around. Those are the people I want in my world, are the people that are saying what's on their fucking mind, because it's not even what's on their mind. It's what they're being called to share. Like, that shit fucking has a punch, and it's real, and it's gritty, and it's messy, and you say shit and you're like, I didn't mean it like that, but maybe like this, and you just fucking go for it. And it feels irresponsible, and it feels unhinged, and it feels like you're being reckless. But no, absolutely not. Those have all been lies to you, spoon-fed through generations. How do you think they came up with the PC narrative? Oh, you need to be PC. You can't say this. You can't say that word. This word's offensive. People don't like when you say that. Miriam, you can't say that in front of this. It's like, oh my God, fuck no, not my job. Not my job. If I feel called to say something, I'm going to fucking say it. And it's literally, it's like, how it's received is not up to me. I cannot manipulate that. It is not for me to manipulate. I don't want to manipulate shit. I want to say what I'm getting, and it lands the way that it needs to land for people. But there's a real trust that is built in your connection with divinity, and in your own ability to channel and transmit and bring through what you're here to bring through. No one sees what you see. No one knows what you know. Period. They don't. They do not have your flavor of knowing. An embodiment in this world needs it. Like, it fucking matters here. Yeah, enough placating. Like, for fuck's sake. Enough. We're done. We're done with that. We're done with that. You don't need to manipulate people. You don't need to practice black magic. You don't need to cast out spells for clients. You don't need to manifest. You don't need to do anything. You just get to be you and just trust every step of the way. And if your safety and security is dictated by who is living in the White House or who's not living in the White House, or if that's even fucking real, or who's in power, because you've given them your power, none of that should matter, because you're backed by God. You're backed by light. You're backed by divinity. Like, none of that holds. None of it. None of it. You're sovereign. Ish. We're getting there. Not full sovereign, because my car is registered and I do have a driver's license. But there is this like reclamation of sovereignty. And when I think, like, if I really go out on this limb, right, like the Trump limb of like, he needs, is he a white hat or a black hat or whatever the fuck? Who the fuck knows? I don't fucking care. It's irrelevant. But what I said to David yesterday, I said, the lightest, most Christ-like thing I believe that he can do is to not say a fucking word. Because it perpetuates the same narrative. It perpetuates that it's not we the people and that it's them the government. That we need a savior. That we need someone external. That Jesus is going to come back. It puts out this like, I don't think Jesus is coming back. Like, I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around that. I can be with a lot of weird fucking shit, right? But that one is like, I don't think he's coming back. I think the absolute most Christed light thing to do is to have us wake up into the realization that we have the same technology, the same ability, the same connection, individual connection to divinity, that we have that within ourselves, and we can operate from that place fully and solely and fully, but both souls. That is the most light thing that I believe that God can do. Because as soon as you get Trump back in there, then you have, he's not coming back to the White House, for fuck's sake. Oh my God, all these people that are like, he's going to be back for Christmas. It's going to be like, oh my God. No, stop, enough. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong, because if I was wrong, I wouldn't say what I'm fucking saying. I only talk and say these things because I believe them to be true, because I think I'm fucking right. Hello? Isn't that why anybody says anything? Why would you say something if you thought you were wrong? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's another one. It's been a fucking weird one. And people are like, oh, anyway, that's a whole other tangent. But I absolutely believe the most light, Christed-like thing you can do is have the individuals wake up within themselves, meet themselves, see what's actually going on here. That can't happen if Orange Man gets inserted back into the White House, because then there's this, okay, now we're safe. It's like, oh, y'all missed the point. Y'all missed the whole fucking point. That is not it. So when this lady is upset that Trump's not coming out and saying anything about adverse reactions, it's because it's not his job. This has to work through people in whatever way it has to work through people in order for them to wake up. Some people will wake up late stage, others won't wake up at all. And that's the harsh truth here. Like, that's it. There are people that are going to orbit off this planet. They'll spin right out the dome. And then there's going to be other ones that will wake up because a family member close to them died, or because they received such terrible treatment in the hospital that they started to question things, or they had a conversation with a nurse when they were trying to visit their loved one who was on a ventilator. Like, who knows what it's going to be? Or the stock market. People are really into their safety and security being but through numbers on a screen, that's like a thing here. But your safety and security is insured by God. Hello. So it has nothing to do with numbers on a screen or fat stacks of cash or gold or silver or any of those things. It's actually insured truly by divinity. Promise you that. Yep. So that. I want to go toe to toe with somebody about that one. I don't know why. I want to battle that out in my head, but not actually. I don't think I actually want to go toe to toe with someone with that argument, because I mean, you either get it or you don't, and if you don't get it, it's, again, not my job to convince you. It's my job to stand in that knowing and be a living embodiment of what that means, that numbers on a screen do not dictate my safety and security, period. Like, truly, they don't. The numbers have gone down. The numbers have gone up. They've been negative. My bank account's been in the red. I've had bill collectors call me. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm always taken care of. How? I don't fucking know. Because God, I do know. Light, divinity, truth, knowing. It's a given, but you only get that through lived experience, through hitting rock bottom and realize that it's not actually rock bottom and you're still good. Like, it's bananas, but that's how it happens. Not everybody has to live out those experiences, but I did. And I'm grateful, because now I truly, it's so, yeah. Oh, so that's actual financial liberation, actual financial freedom, is realizing that these numbers on a screen have nothing to do with your safety and security. It is absolutely insured. But what people will have to learn is, maybe they'll learn it through the financial system. Maybe there'll be a huge crash, probably. There'll be a huge crash and they'll lose all their fucking cabal tokens. And it's like, yeah, well, okay, now are you going to start questioning things? Now are you going to start questioning this reality and what the fuck is going on here? Now are you going to start questioning the fact that we've been under satanic rule for generations galore? Or are you still going to bury your head in the sand? It's like, everyone has to learn their lesson differently, but it's really like, I don't think I've ever said this before because I've always felt like it's my responsibility, but it's not for us to wake them up. It's for us to keep being who we are here and saying what we're getting, because no one knows what you know and no one sees what you see. They don't. They just fucking don't. And you know that. You know that. And you fucking kind of love it. You're like, yeah, I know. Nobody sees what I see. It's exhilarating because you're being a person here. You're being an individual. You're not regurgitating a narrative. You don't have to pull up all the scientific facts to prove to your family members or to the people around you or to the school board why this is or isn't a good idea. It's like, no, it's not a good idea. We're not doing this. And I'm standing in that. It's like, well, I need da da da. It's like, okay, well then go find it. Go find it your fucking self, because my job is to stand here in my knowing and to be a beacon of light for God, because God does not exist here. Clearly, we don't talk about God here. There is no light here. So I will be that. I will stand here and I will be that. That's how this goes. And you keep going. You just keep going. That's the fucking beauty of all of this. So yeah, now I'm curious if you notice when people are being manipulated, and like how, like when people say like I'm just curious. I'm curious how that shows up for you now when you witness people like blaming other people for their circumstances, or like when I worked at the Chopra Center. God. When I worked at the Chopra Center, you know, he was big on Hillary, and he said that Trump fought with his dick or his root chakra or sacral. I don't know. He was going on all the talk shows, Conan O'Brien, talking shit about Trump. And I went up to him and I was like, Deepak, I had a dream about you and Trump. And then he was like, oh, if that man wins. And he like threw his arms up in the air and walked away. I've told the story before. He was not happy about it. So then Trump won. So then I was like, oh, I want to see the inauguration. So I pulled it up. I worked in the bookstore. No one was in there. No one. Zero. Just me and this coworker, who she was very scared of Trump, like viscerally scared of Trump winning. I believe she was a quarter black, half black. I don't know. So she was terrified. And I wanted to watch the inauguration because I was curious. I was curious if he was going to get shot, is really where my mind went. I was like, oh my God, is this real? Like, because I lived in, you know, liberal California. And I was not with her, you know, we know that. That was fucking bananas. Anyway. But all of this to say, where was I going with that? I don't even know. Deepak, Trump. I totally lost the thread. I got so into the details. I got in trouble for playing the inauguration. And then I was like, so if Hillary won, I'm sure we could have watched this, because Deepak was out like publicly supporting Hillary. So if she won, then I'm sure I could have been watching the inauguration. I'm like, Miriam, this isn't appropriate for the bookstore. I'm like, oh, whatever. The fucking double standards and the nonsense. So anyway, that bookstore is under... Oh my God, I left right in time. I left February 2017. And then March, they started laying people off. And then, I don't even know. They're just donezo. But, yeah, it was crazy. So this woman, she was viscerally scared of me playing that. And she went and told on me. And then that's when I got, the director came up to me and told me I couldn't watch it and all this stuff. And it was just so weird. Like, it's like, what? Like, you're... I don't know. Like, yeah, fear does some fucked up shit to people. Fear can really fuck you up. And they know that. They know that. That's why those narratives were spun about Trump. That's why the narratives are spun about anything. It's to drum up fear, the BLM shit, people are just finding out that Kyle Rittenhouse didn't kill black people. They thought he shot black people. But he shot a pedophile, a convicted pedophile. Disgusting. Like, these people were not good stand-up citizens, nor were they black. They were white. And we have all these BLM people support, but people are starting to see through the BLM narrative, which you could have seen on day one if you went to the website and saw that they wanted to destroy the nuclear family. That was a red flag. Like, it's just bananas, but it's like, how far does it have to go? And for some people, I think it has to go really far. And I really believe, there is actually no doubt in my mind, that the most Christed and light thing that anyone can do, if Trump is truly light, if he's a white hat, if he's working with divinity, if he's working with benevolent off-planet intelligences, which I believe that he is, if he is working in those realms, the absolute brightest and lightest thing you can do is to not say anything and to let we the people wake up. Let we the people, I the individual, wake up from within this slumber. It is not about anybody coming back to save us. That's not how this works. Jesus isn't coming back. Like, I think the energetic, the embodiment, the technology that Jesus had is here and available. And I believe that is what we are doing at the Second Paradigm. I believe that is what we are teaching at the Second Paradigm, is that intuitive connection through every circumstance in your entire life, and to actually see what's going on here, to see this reality for what it is and how to navigate it. Yeah. Never really thought of it like that. I mean, maybe, but I've never said it like that. Makes me a little nervous, because I'm like, oh God, are we the Jesus thumpers now? But it's like Jesus from such a different place. It's not Jesus from the Bible or from religion. It's Jesus from, like, Jesus is my homeboy. Like, we're doing this thing together. Yeah, it's crazy, because it's the energetic of it. It's the light of it. It's the truth of it. I think, like, my interpretation of this whole Jesus God thing is that it's like Jesus feels like a separate individual. I think he was probably hybrid ET, some sort of like Palladian human hybrid that had David and I have talked about this, but I don't know if we talked about it publicly, like, had the capability to anchor in that much light here. I don't think he could have anchored it in those current those iterations of the human body. I don't think we had the physicality to be able to anchor that much light here. So I think he was some sort of hybrid, came here, anchored that light. I think Joseph was just like a regular cool dude that was like totally down. And I think Mary was Palladian too. At least that's what she told me when I was talking to her one time, which was cool. And it just, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of makes sense. I don't know if that's anywhere out there. I haven't researched or seen if anybody else has gotten the same thing, because I don't really like to do that. I just like to trust what I'm getting and just stand in it and then see where it shakes out. But that's what I got. And yeah, that's that technology, that same technology that Jesus had as like a potential hybrid ET human thing, like light, is available to us now. Like, it's absolutely here now. Like, that's what we're here to do today. That intuition as an operating system is absolutely here. You can connect to divinity, be plugged into God, be plugged into the ideal at all times. Like, that's it. Like, that's what we're doing here now. So for Trump to intervene, or for someone to intervene, for someone of that with power and authority or whatever you've given them, it doesn't seem helpful, because it brings relief to something that it's not time yet for it to be relieved. It would be like pressing the button on the Instapot too early. Like, it's like, no, we need to be fully cooked, fully tenderized, fully delicious. Oh my God, I'm thinking about recipes now. I made this really good butternut squash soup. It's so fucking good in the Instapot. If you want the recipe, I'll share a picture of it. Actually, I wrote it down. It was so fucking good. But anyway, I wrote it down and took a picture of it. Like, so old school. So funny. I feel like everybody does everything on their phone and like takes screenshots of recipes, but I just wrote down, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'll share it. But yeah, it's like why, if things were supposed to change, if things were supposed to be different than the way that they are, then they would be. But the fact that they're not is because we're really playing something out here. We're playing something out for everyone, as many people as possible, to be able to awaken within themselves, to awaken from this slumber, to awaken from this prison, this matrix, this whatever people want to call it, from the first paradigm. Like, that's what it is. It's to awaken from the first paradigm. It's to awaken from this self-serving place of, I need to do these things in order to be a good person, and I need to manipulate you and enroll you into my process of how I do things, so then I can be a good person. And like, it's just, it gets twisted. I don't even know how to describe it, because it's gross. It's gross. And that's everywhere. We live in this world is currently the first paradigm, and it has been for a very long time, as long as we've been under satanic rule, which who knows how long that has been. Has this always been a demon planet? I don't know. Is it supposed to be? No, I don't think so. I think this is our opportunity to actually reclaim what is ours here, for humanity to reclaim what is ours here, because we know there are a bunch of beings here, people that look like humans, but they're not. They're not. You can feel it. They have an absence of soul. They have an absence of light. They are not human. They are not connected to divinity. They are not even trying to connect to divinity. They're doing the opposite. And waking up to that hard realization of, oh, darkness exists here, and this is fucking hard. This is a hard place to live. This is crazy that we fucking live here. It's like, yeah, but this is exactly why we live here. This is exactly why we came here, because we have something different to bring. We have light to bring here. We have our own opinions. We have our own connection with divinity. We have our own channel. We have our own knowing. We see what we see. We know what we know, which no one else sees what we see, and no one else knows what we know. And that is all by design. That is all by design. Divinity. Design? Why am I mixing those up? Same. It's the same. Divine design? Divine design. There we go. It's so funny, another side note, back in the day when I was a liberal, long time ago, there was all this shit about climate change, I mean, when has there not been? But I was so angry about it. I was like, no, this climate change narrative is not true. I was like, it tells you that you're bad and wrong, and you are not bad and wrong. And I was like so pissed. And then, David was still in I don't know where he was at with it, but I scramble his brain, It's kind of what I do. But he was wherever he was with it. And, probably questioning and asking me like, what about the climate changing? Like, isn't it changing? Like, aren't the temperatures changing? I was like, so what? Can't it just change? Can't it just change and us not be bad and wrong? Like, why does it have to be about making humanity bad and wrong? I was pissed. This was like 2018, 2019. I was fucking fuming about this thing. And then we went to an event with this personal development lady who I will not name in this moment. But I will on Soul Over Psyop. That's where I drop all the names. And she was saying how we were in Seattle. She came down to talk at this event. And she was saying how we are in a climate crisis. And I was like, oh my God, come on. I didn't feel truth in it at all. I was like, no, like, not true. Like, crisis only exists because it's the same thing with mandates. They only exist because both parties agree, which I've been saying that since forever. Since before COVID, when I was said nothing is mandatory or obligatory. That's what I said. And then come to find out, this lawyer reads from this law book about mandates. And the only way anything can be mandatory is if both parties agree to it being mandatory. If the acquiescing party acquiesces, if the other party is like, oh, okay, this is a mandate and I'll do it. That's the only way a mandate's a mandate. By law. I didn't even know. I don't know law. I took law, but I did not do it well. Not well. That class was so hard for me. I had no idea what I was fucking doing. But that was all through my knowing. I just said it because I felt called to say it, and it felt true when I said it. So I just fucking said it. I had nothing to stand in. I had no law evidence to back it up. It just felt true. I was like, nothing's mandatory, obligatory. And turns out, here we are. Same truth today. Even written in a law book. Thank you very much. Nothing's mandatory or obligatory. Where else was I going with that? I don't know. Trusting what we're getting. It's always going to be a thing. I don't know. I think that's all I have. But it's genuinely about we the people. Like for real. Like, we've got to wake up. We've got to ask ourselves, like, what's actually here for us in all of this. We've got to trust our channel. We've got to trust what we're getting. We're already good people. Like that's the thing. Like, that's the shtick. Like, that's the hook, is to make you think you're bad and wrong, and that if you do these things, then you'll be good. So, one of them is the climate change narrative. Like, and stop whatever plastic straws. Like, you need to use metal straws. And then you'll be a good person, and you need to use reusable bags, and like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I did it. We lived in Seattle. Like, that's what you do. Like, everyone, you had metal straws and reusable bags. Like, that's insane if you had a plastic bag. Like, ew, who are you? Like, that's the culture there. And I fell right into it. And I actually I still have reusable bags. There's one right there. I like using them. It makes more sense to me. It just feels right. But not because I'm trying to be a good person and do my part, right? Because that's where that narrative goes. And like, you're already a good person. Even if I use a plastic bag, I'm still a good person. It didn't change anything. But that's where the hooks come in. And these people, these satanic people that truly worship Satan, that are actual demons here, living in human embodiments that appear to be human embodiments, but you can see right through them. Those people, it's like they live. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It's like that. Like, you can actually see who's not human just by looking. You know who's not human here. It is very obvious. Spend some time looking. So, where was I going with this? My God, so many threads. I just keep talking and talking and talking. So you're already a good person. Well, that's right. That's the thing. So they're here to tell you that you're not a good person. And these are the ways in which you can be a good, it's not that you can be a better person. It's the ways in which you can be a good person. But they're saying that, and they're not good people. Like, all of these narratives come from the thing that they are not. They're actually demonic, like truly evil. And we've bought into it. We've thought like, oh yeah, I should do that. Or, oh, this is what good people do. Like, this is what good friends do. This is what good partners do. This is what good, no. This is what good citizens do. This is what good strangers do. And it's like, oh my God. Like, period. You're already good. It's okay if you didn't hold the door for the person. You're not a bad person. You just didn't feel like holding the door. Can you trust that maybe that person needs the door not held for them today, so they can get pissed about it and have an explosion of anger and then some clarity drop in? Like, can you just trust that what you're guided to do is for a reason and for a bigger purpose, and you don't need to make yourself bad and wrong? That is absolute nonsense. We spend so much time in that place, especially as spiritual, connected, insecure, intuitive people. We think we're bad and wrong, and that we need to dissect our thoughts, and that we need to dissect our whatevers. That's what I was telling David from my last Soul Over PSYOP video about the neighbor, how I was like, New Age personal development would say, I just have them lumped in the same thing. I don't even know if they are. But they would have you like, oh, well, you're judging your neighbor, so you need to look at yourself, and like, what are these things about you that are about her? It's like, oh my God, my answer's no. I don't like her. I have a bad feeling about her. I don't fucking know why, but my answer's fucking no. I don't need to look at myself and figure out what I did that's like her, and that's why, and I need to come to this place of love. It's like, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're still in the nitty gritty of drawing clean lines of what's light here and what's dark, and what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. That's where we're at. We're not in the light and love phase yet. I know all the fucking New Age, whatever, is all about the light and love, but it's completely disconnected from reality. And did you see that Sadhguru was giving a hug to Klaus Schwab? Whatever the fuck. New Age psyop. It's all so clear. You just let yourself see it and disconnect from all of it and know what your truth is here. And if you don't know what your truth is yet, rant until you find it. Get angry until you find it. For fuck's sake. There is no need to be docile. There is no need to be insecure. There is no need to second guess your intuitive connection to divinity, to all of existence. There is no need to question that anymore. It is a waste of time and it is not a good look because you already fucking know. You've always known. That's what I always say. I feel like I'm like literally, I could go back to old videos of myself, 2016, and be like, you always know. You can trust yourself. You always fucking know. Because you do. And if you didn't know, you just say, yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting anything right now. I'll check in later and see if if clarity drops in. So that's how this works. That's how this works. Okay. That's all I have. Trust your knowing. Trump isn't going to save you. Jesus isn't coming back. I know it's not a popular message in the Christian community, but I'm standing in it. What's really here is for you to awaken within yourself, meet yourself, know who you are. Know who you are by engaging with the world. That's the only way. You can't sit on a cushion. You can't mantra yourself into meeting yourself. It is through engaging with the world, going toe-to-toe with the demons at the door, going toe-to-toe with whatever is in your circumstances, and actually standing up for what you know to be true and standing in it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to do anything. You just get to stand in your knowing and let them squirm, because they will. And it is not your job to console their squirm. It is your job to stand in your knowing, stand in your light, know that you are a beacon of truth, know that you are a beacon of light here, and that you are called here for a very specific reason.